Well, I was going to say let's try this again, but we got the bye for round 2, so now I'm in a heads-up queue. And our hand is playable. We have 2 cantrips. So, you know, hopefully we don't get stuck on one land or get wasted or whatever. But we are keeping. And we're just going to lead on probe and then possibly on therapy too, depending on what our opponent has. So let's take a gander. Take a little look-ski. Maybe. One of these days. Just want to take a look. Why won't you let me take a look? There we go. Alright, we'll snippy snip this thing. Looks like 2 brainstorms, but our opponent probably won't let us get 2 brainstorms. But if they force that, then that's fine too. Hiya. So, would you rather be left with a force or a brainstorm? Wow. You want to be left with a force instead of a brainstorm. That's pretty impressive. Get out of here. The opponent plays the islands. They have Force Will, Terminus, Mountain, Arid Mesa. And I'm not really looking to therapy any of those cards. Not right now, anyway. Thought Scour, try and dig for a land. Brick off. How many lands do we have? We have 19, right? Maybe that's not enough. 19 land. That wasn't a land either. That was another Thought Scour. Alright, we have a land. Basically just gonna therapy right now to use my mana. And I guess I'm naming Force of Will. Not Force of Savagery. Okay, our opponent's hand improved a little bit. Yeah. So, we are in Snapcaster territory, so we can probe our opponent next turn and then flashback the therapy to get that Jace. Leave our opponent with some silly miracles. And then hopefully start deploying some Monastery Mentors at some point. And we have a pretty stock graveyard for dig through time, so that's cool too. Maybe this deck does need an extra land. Certainly doesn't need Swords of Plowshares against the Miracles deck. Uh-oh. Counterbalance coming. Counterbalance incoming. Nope. Just wanted to main phase fetch. So we draw a dig, but still playing Snap. Snapping this probe. So opponent drew another force. But we drew a force. Nice. Nice. Jace, get out. No, not Jace Bellerin. Jace the Living Guild Pact. Alright, still looking for white mana, but we have dig. Next turn that we're probably going to use main phase to dig for a land if we don't draw one. If our opponent draws a blue card, we can force back with Snapcaster. And again, our opponent just still has some miracles with a Force of Will. So, still doing pretty good. Therapy doing work to give us some time, despite our draw being a little awkward. Alright, well, we're Monastery Mentor rich. We do not need these lands. I would say that this Thought Scour is not very good. And I guess I would prefer Brainstorm over Probe. Oh, we have another Thought Scour. Yeah, we can just get rid of that. So we'll keep Brainstorm and Probe. Counterspell. Well, I'm going to force that. Because I would rather have 2 random cards than Force and Snapcaster. So we do pick up a land and another dig, so that's perfect. Perfect! I guess we don't need to crack that right now. Opponent might play a main deck Blood Moon or something. Might want to actually get a Plains. Maybe we could get a Plains now. Some cats messing with my door. Caracas. That does not affect us. So upkeep, fetch a Plains, try and shuffle in all these Brainstorms. I'm guessing our opponent doesn't have Blood Moon main deck, but I don't think there's any reason to risk it. Mentor, go. So far, I want another land and possibly some more Baleful Strixes. And our opponent just concedes. Probably fed up with drawing a bunch of expensive cards that don't do anything when you don't have a top in play. So we want Needle, we want Null Rod. Seal Cleansing and Council's Judgment are options, as are Meddling Mages. We definitely don't want all these swords. It's possible we may want some if our opponent has Vendilion Click. So we get to add 1 card. Unearth is probably not very good, actually, because, like, it's good with Thought Scour, but it's not good when our opponent's removal is Swords and Terminus. So I think we want the Judgment and the Flusterstorm, and then maybe we just keep 1 Unearth. Pretty sure Meddling Mage is not very good. Nothing else we can cycle the Unearth, or, like, Unearth a thing that we sack to Therapy. I could see Surgical being pretty reasonable too. Like if I get rid of all my opponent's Terminuses or something, that could be good. Or it could counter a Snapcaster Mage potentially. Maybe I want to try one of those instead of the Unearth. It's pretty nice that we get a real match in the heads-up queue. I'm pretty excited. Play against some Miraclays. So this hand is kind of similar to our last one, except we don't have a Therapy, we don't have a Probe, so I think this is a ship, especially since the Mentors aren't great until, like, you know, turn 4 or so, and we have 2 of them, which we don't really want. We have Snapcasters with not a lot of targets, we don't have a lot of land. We don't have anything particularly great in this matchup, like a Pithing Needle or a Null Rod, so I think we're going to mulligan this. And this is a lot of disruption, so we'll keep this. Do want a clock at some point, but even if we find a dig through time, that's kind of like a clock. Something that kind of wraps the game up. Our opponent is kind of slow. So, no top. Oh, we get to probe our opponent, though. It's kind of cool. Certainly some merit to waiting, but if there's a counterbalance lurking, I might want to, you know, try and draw therapy and use that. It's a lot of business. A lot of happenings. So there's a Snapcaster. That's pretty nice. And I think we'll just drop this Needle. I assume our opponent will respond to this. Maybe they'll Spell Pierce it. But they should at least respond by cracking their fetch. And if they don't Spell Pierce it, then we could potentially name their Flooded Strand if we wanted to. I think it's still better to just name Sensei's Dividing Top, but who knows? Okay. So it's in. So now we can name Flooded Strand if we want to. And I think I kind of want to, because they only have one land. Yeah, we're going to do it. Get you. Oh, I have a Flooded Strand. That's horrendous. Oh, man, that's so bad. At least I have a Brainstorm. My opponent has a Spell Pierce, but, yeah, that's really awkward. Pithing Needle does affect my things as well. Good to know, good to know. Alright. So we could run the Snapcaster into a Reb. I don't think there's any point to really doing that. I think the trick to this game is going to be to brainstorm away our own Flooded Strand. And then hopefully our opponent will never know about the terrible mistake we have made. Possible I should just go like full LD mode and like surgical their Scalding Tarns too, but I think that's a little extreme. So I think we're just going to play our land, and then probably brainstorm on our next main phase. And if we get locked, so be it. Yeah, our opponent's stuck on one. Man, are we going to force this Reb? I think we have to. Do not get punished for our mistakes. Perfect. Alright, so now we fetch Tundra. We play Snapcaster. They Reb, we force. We Flashback Probe. Surprised to not see a Spell Pierce at least on that Brainstorm. So now we have a little clock and a clear top of our deck with enough mana to operate. So things are going well. And our opponent will never be the wiser that we named a card with Pithing Needle that we had in our hand. They should have just Spell Pierced the Needle to save us the trouble. So a lot of swords, and got the Mentor, which is kind of cool. Mentor Mirror. Even with a haircut, I am still sweating profusely. I recommend getting an air conditioner to anyone that does not have one. Now we see how far the Snapcaster can take us. Just concedes. That's not very fun. Oh, we're going to draw straight Gasoline, so that's probably pretty reasonable. But still kind of funny. I don't know. We play bad, get rewarded. Just kind of how it goes. So, 1-1 in matches played and 1-1 in the daily event. So, hopefully keep this train going. Although I do wish that I could make some changes to my deck now that I've actually played some games with it. But we'll finish out the tournament, see how it goes, and probably discuss changes after round 4.